This is Feed Your Mind. And so there was an epic debate that took place the other day. And this opening statement, I believe, was one of the better opening statements I probably heard in a while. When it comes to these debates, he pretty much won the debate, in my opinion, right at the opening statement. I'm going to play this opening statement for you. This was a debate that took place on Twitter Spaces, and it was between this guy named Red's Rhetoric versus Ban's Notice. I never heard of this guy Ban's Notice before. BAN Notice. And I think I will be probably looking more into his work after this one, because he actually invoked God into his opening statement about flat earth, and I never really heard it done in a way where it was done properly like this, where, because usually in these scientific debates, that's like the last thing you want to kind of bring up, but like I've been exploring on my channel is the argument of intelligent design. Instead of necessarily going right out and saying God, you can kind of like get this message across by explaining how intelligent design makes sense. Because when you see the moon and the sun and how they behave and keep perfect track of times, and then with the stars keeping track of seasons, this is obvious intelligent design. I've covered this many times before, and I'm glad to finally start hearing these types of statements in flat earth debates, because these are the statements that actually make the most sense. And the guy also, Ban Notice, also went into other points like the government documents that explain the flat earth and how they operate their machines and their equipment using a flat earth model. Also, Ban Notice was talking about long distance observations. So basically how globe earthers will always say, well, that's refraction or something. When you see something further than what the globe model should allow, they always try to say, well, that's not a real image. You're seeing something, a mysterious mirage. They try to say every time you can see further than you should. They're willfully ignorant on this. They want to ignore the evidence right in front of their eyes. And so Ban Notice also had to go into how, there is an apparent horizon. It's not an actual horizon that you're seeing when you're looking and you're saying, oh, well, that's disappearing from the bottom up and stuff like that. Well, that's perfectly explainable. We can demonstrate this stuff on a kitchen table, how things can disappear bottom up with the magnification and the haze and the atmospheric conditions. There's always some type of discrepancy, and that's just how things disappear. And this is information that people didn't understand back in the 1400s or whatever. People were trying to experiment and see if the world is flat or round, and they would right away assume a curved earth just because of things that we can now debunk. And now that we're in the modern times, people are holding on to these crude, dated policies that the scientific conclusions that were made that really do not prove that we live on a curved earth. Plus, you could never see a curved earth from the ground anyways, like many scientists have admitted. So how could you see anything disappearing from the bottom up and say that's the curved earth if all the scientists are admitting, yeah, you can't see curved earth from ground level, because they're saying, well, the earth is too big, they love to say. So you can't see it from a plane, you can't see it from 30 miles up, you can't see the curve of the earth anywhere. So how can you claim to be seeing things, the curved earth, from the ground level? So I'll probably have to do a video on that at some time. I really haven't covered that very much, but like I said, this Ban Notice guy, I loved how he basically was saying how Well, science is basically, he's saying, hiding proof of intelligent design. And that's pretty much what they've been doing. They've made people believe in evolution and the Big Bang Theory and everything like that. So let me play this opening statement for you, and you can decide for yourself what you think about it.
To prove the flat Earth, I first have to define the flat Earth model. I'll be using government sources to do so. First is a NASA document published in 1988 in which it states that a plane flies over a flat, non-rotating Earth. This is the primary form of the flat Earth, a vast, flat, and unmoving level plane going in all directions. Next is Operation High Jump, in which the military explored the Antarctica ice wall. The ice wall is the outer barrier of the flat Earth, which holds in the oceans. You can't contain water without a container, and the ice wall is a 360-degree container around the flat Earth that locks in the oceans. Next is Operation Fishbowl, in which the military in the 60s launched rockets at the firmament in order to try and break through the dome. Interesting to note the names of these operations, as it indicates a cynicism in that the military does know the shape of the Earth, and that's why they give them such names as High Jump to describe the tall ice wall, or Fishbowl because it's like we are trapped in a giant container. Briefly, I'll describe what's underneath the flat Earth, which as far as any humans have ever dug is about 8 miles. So at the very least, we know there's 8 miles of Earth beneath the surface, but any claim of 4,000 or 8,000 miles of Earth beneath us has not been proven by any practical application. So the positive proof of the flat Earth is airplane flight. We have many pilots on video admitting that the Earth is flat. Up top, I posted a video of a commercial airline pilot who admitted the Earth is flat. The flat earther asked him an interesting question by trying to trick the pilot, asking if the nose of the plane is pointed at a negative angle so the plane could go over the curve of the Earth. The pilot caught the mistake and corrected him and said, no, the plane's nose is actually a 3 degrees positive angle. The 3-degree positive angle of a plane is a positive proof that we live on a flat, non-rotating Earth, as it would be impossible for a plane to go over a curve with a positive angle to the nose. The plane would have to dip its nose down and constantly adjust its elevation if it had to fly over a curve. We also have a former military F-16 fighter pilot who was interviewed by Globebusters who admitted the Earth is flat. This video is also on the Jumbo. The pilot stated that he used radar up to 50 miles and the F-16 radar capability actually goes up to 100 miles. 100 miles of radar can only work on a flat Earth as radar does not bend around curves. In the same way, submarine radar and periscopes work the same way, as you can't have radar or optical vision bending around a curve. The F-16 could go up to 55,000 feet and has a top speed of 1,350 miles per hour. So if you imagine yourself in an F-16, you can go up, down, left, right. You'll be flying over a flat, non-rotating plane the entire time. The flat Earth is a logical system in that each reference frame is connected to each other in a flat and continuous plane, and not, for instance, curving and wobbling around. Other important proof of the flat Earth is the fact that the horizon rises with elevation. This is an important point, so I'll repeat it again. When you raise an elevation, the horizon rises with you, allowing you to see beyond the horizon and onto a more flat, motionless plane. This is illustrated up top by a video of a worker climbing a 1,500-foot TV tower. As the camera moves upwards, you can see the horizon expand so that more land is visible, and the increased elevation allows you to see more of the flat Earth. If the Earth was curved, you would see the Earth curving away from you, and your vision of the Earth would be limited by a curving horizon. We also have the properties of water as a proof of the flat Earth. Sea level is the reference frame for all measured elevations, for instance, 100 feet above sea level. While there are mountains and valleys on the flat Earth, what we really mean is that the sea level is the base or reference point for all elevations, and sea level is level. Water always finds its level, and it would be impossible for the sea to be calm or level if the Earth was spinning and curving. This also works for the Great Lakes. Water takes the shape of whatever container it is in, and so if you have a flat and level sea, and since 70% of the Earth is covered by water, I therefore conclude with 100% certainty that the Earth is flat. The properties of water allow us to use a bubble level to determine relative flatness of a surface. So if you tilt the level, the bubble always moves in the direction of the higher end, as the air pocket always moves to the higher elevation. So for instance, if the bubble moves to the right, that means the right end of a level is a higher elevation than the left end. If the Earth was curving or wobbling, we would not see a constant flat horizon out at sea. The horizon itself is only a visible horizon and not an actual line or curve of the Earth. I will present present three ways that we can see beyond the horizon, which proves the horizon is only a perceived horizon and not an actual curve of the Earth. The first method is to use a high-powered camera to zoom into a boat that has previously gone over the horizon. If the boat had gone below the horizon, no amount of zoom, no matter how powerful, would be able to see the boat as it would be obstructed by the Earth. Another method without even using zoom is just to raise your elevation. By raising your elevation, you expand the distance at which you can see, so the previously unseen boat at sea level can now be seen once again from a higher perspective, thereby proving the boat did not go over the curve. Finally, I took a picture of a container ship on Lake Erie that I posted up top. The atmospheric conditions made the horizon visually hazy. However, the ship was tall enough to where you could still see it above the hazy water. As a result, since you could see the boat more clearly than the horizon, it appears as if the ship is floating on the water. Again, this would be impossible if the boat was below a curve. Next is a laser light experiment, which I posted up top, in which flat earthers use a laser light over the Great Salt Lakes to see if the Earth curves at 8 inches per square mile, as required by the globe model. The total distance was 21 miles. The globe model predicts there would be 294 feet of curvature drop. 220 feet of elevation would be required to see the laser if we lived on a globe. The bright laser could be seen by the camera on the other side of the lake at a laser height of just 5 feet. The flat, non-rotating Earth is just one aspect of the flat Earth. Another key quality of the flat Earth is that it is an ordered and predictable system, compared to a chaotic system, which is an oxymoron and therefore impossible. We can see many aspects of order on a flat Earth. In order to prove this, I have to describe as best as I can the origin of the flat Earth. The flat Earth was created by God. God is an eternal, uncreated creator that created the flat Earth with purpose and intelligent design. When we see the sun, we know it is the source of all origin of life. It does not exist randomly. It exists with a purpose. The sun keeps track of the day, the phases of the moon keep track of the month, and the constellations keep track of the seasons. The North Star being fixed in the same part of the sky year after year for thousands of years, with all other stars in the northern hemisphere rotating around it, indicate a fixed, predictable, precise, and ordered system. Furthermore, the sun, moon, planets, and all 12 zodiac constellations all follow closely to the solar path, also called the ecliptic line. Up top, I posted a screenshot from a star tracker app that shows the accurate location of celestial bodies in the sky. Just in one small portion of the sky, we see the sun, moon, Uranus, Mercury, Jupiter, Aries, and Pisces all close together, following along the ecliptic path. If we lived in a chaotic system, it would be impossible for the celestial bodies to follow the same path century after century for thousands of years. People sometimes ask how the flat Earth can explain eclipses. I am happy to explain that. Eclipses show us two important facts. One is that an eclipse proves that the sun and moon are the exact same size in the sky. This would be impossible if the universe was random and disordered. Imagine finding 2 pennies on the ground of the exact same size. It would be foolish to assume this happened by random chance. And we know the coins are the same size because they were created that way. The second fact of an eclipse is that it proves the sun and moon follow the exact same path in the sky. Eclipses can only occur along the ecliptic path. That is how it gets its name. If we lived in a chaotic system, there would be no reason to believe the sun and moon just randomly follow each other year after year for thousands of years. Next is a density and buoyancy model of predicting how objects move through different mediums. When an object is denser than the medium it is traveling in, it drops. And when it is lighter than the medium it is traveling in, it rises. So that if you drop a rock into the water, and density model correctly predicts that the rock would sink. Not only does this model correctly predict the movement of objects through different mediums, it also does not require any gravity calculations to do so. We also see how the entire world itself is like a magnetic model with a north and south pole and opposing lines of current. It is interesting to note that there is a northern pole star but only an empty southern node. This is similar to an electrical model in which you have a positive ion but on the opposite end a negative ground or empty node. This electrical current also explains why northern hemisphere stars circle around the North Star and the southern hemisphere stars circle around the empty node. The entire world is like an electrical model, and since electromagnetism is a verified and practical application, it is a superior model compared to the gravity model. In conclusion, for this reason and many others, we know the flat Earth is a flat and non-rotating plane, and it is intelligently designed because every day the sun rises and every day the sun sets in a predictable manner. We know the Earth is intelligently designed because the sun never randomly blows up like a SpaceX rocket. Thank you.
Okay, folks, that was it. If you want me to post a full debate, I could find it, but I'll probably need a bunch of likes or a bunch of comments saying that you want me to post a full debate. I mean, in my opinion, this guy destroyed Red's rhetoric. I loved how he used intelligent design. To me, that's one of the easiest way to prove flat earth. I mean, first of all, flat earth proves intelligent design, which is why I can't believe Kent Hovind and all those other guys, like Paul Begley and all those other Christian leaders can't figure this out, that this is it. This is what we discovered, that science has been hiding intelligent design. And intelligent design is right in front of our face, especially when you start understanding the true nature of this earth. So, yeah, leave some comments or some likes if you want me to post a full debate. Yeah, that's about it for today. Let me know your thoughts on this guy, Ban Notice, and his opening statement for Flat Earth. I'm going to also leave some links so you can check out more information that I've done on this subject. Also, I'll leave links to my other channels, my social media, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 to help keep Feed Your Mind online, because they try to hide channels like this. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been Feed Your Mind signing off.